Hey guys, today is a new day from yesterday and I did not get to fix my supper that I wanted to fix with our freshly slaughtered chicken. I ended up having to go to town again and handle some business with the same kid that I had to do the other day that I didn't get canning stuff done that I shared at the beginning of the video. So he ended up buying pizza for us to eat. For the harvest today, I got this. It's about a half of a 3-gallon bucket, and I got about a half of a 5-gallon bucket because I had to take some out in there. And then I got a bowl, pretty big bowl of green beans. Here's my hand, it's a pretty big hand. Green beans, purple and green. I won't ever plant this variety of purple again. They did not produce super great. 3 buckets of jalapenos to make cowboy candy, and 1 bucket of pepperoncinis to make, or banana peppers to make pepperoncinis. I got 1 squash today and 1 pepper. I have a bunch of peppers in the garden, but I'm letting them turn red. So there we go. Oh yeah, I forgot over here too. We have a big pile of kale. Some of it's kind of funky, but I'll just pick around it. Probably gonna put some in our soup tonight. And then I picked all the rest of the carrots. I had already harvested and canned all the big carrots, and this is what I kind of left to grow bigger. And I decided to go ahead and pick them so we can use the bed for something else. So we will put that in the soup tonight too. And we have a little mushroom harvest. Solomon, that's Solomon. He harvests some puffball mushrooms, so we're gonna put those in our soup tonight too. All right, so I've got 1 jar filled with green beans, and I'm filling the rest. I don't have a lot of green beans this year. We usually have several 5-gallon buckets. I replanted, so we'll see what we get of the next couple rows. So I'm just canning what I have because every little bit counts. Green beans are super easy to can. You don't have to use a pressure canner. You can actually water bath green beans, but it takes 3 hours. I don't prefer to do that. I'm not afraid of the pressure canner. So you just fill up a kettle with water. We're gonna get that to a boiling. All you gotta do is do your tops and tails, which is cutting the tips off the ends and then snapping them into the size you want. Fill your jar, put your teaspoon of salt in here, fill it up with your boiling water, put the lid on, and pop it in the pressure canner. Like I said, you can water bath green beans for 3 hours. That's how they used to do it back in the day. My aunt grew up canning, and that's how she actually taught me to can before I used a pressure canner. I was afraid of it when I was younger. So I used to water bath green beans for 3 hours, but it's such a long process. And I think they're 25 minutes. I have to double check. In a pressure canner, there's several different types of pressure canners. And I used to have one that had the little circle gauge on top, and I hated it. You had to stay by it and make sure that it stayed in the area that it was supposed to. And those are the ones that used to scare people all the time because they can explode. So I got rid of that a few years ago, and well, quite a few years ago, several years ago. The last one I had actually was a weighted canner too. So I purchased this one because it's a double stacker. So this one can fit 2 pint jars I don't have one handy, but they can, so you can double stack your pint jars, and it has came with 2 racks. So you'd put your pint jars, just a minute. You'd put your pint jars on the bottom, and then you'd put another rack so it's evenly dispersed weight, and then you'd put another row of pint jars on the top. So that's why it's super tall. Another perk of this canner is if I wanted to water bath my green beans, your jars need to be covered with at least 1 inch of water the whole entire time that they're water bathing. So you would need to have a super tall pot if you were going to choose to water bath, which is fine to do. Once again, I did it for years, but like I said, 25 minutes in a pressure canner versus 3 hours is a very big difference. So back to the weight. So this one, after this vents steam, you have a manual that tells you all this. After this vents steam for 10 minutes, so it gets up to its heat and it's venting steam, you wait 10 minutes, and then you pop your little weight on top, and when it starts to rock is when you time your minutes for your pressure canner. If this thing were to get too loaded with pressure, this thing goes a little more up and it just straight steam. You know your fire's too hot if that's happening, and you need to turn your fire down. So this isn't just a, walk away and leave it the whole time. I usually check it once or twice during the process just to make sure the fire's where it needs to be. And this should be rocking gently, not the steam out. But this is a much, much safer pressure canner in my opinion. I've had, like I said, both. And this is what I would choose to do. Perfectly safe. If it's going to blow, it's not going to ever blow because it's going to release that steam. You might run out of water and your jars might break if you let it go full steam like that. You're not supposed to. Your jars might break, you might run out of water because all that steam's coming out too fast. There's too much buildup in there, but it's not going to ever explode. So that's what I would recommend for a canner. I wasn't planning on turning this into a canning video again for the second time, since I did the first half with tomatoes. But since I'm doing a different method of canning, I thought I would go ahead and share the few canning tips that I have. When you're canning in a pressure canner, you can see here the water's not covering. The water is down quite low. You only add to my pressure canner, like you said, you have to look at your manual, but you only add 3 jars to the top of water into a pressure canner because it's built on steam pressure rather than water canning. So that's why the jars are sticking out. I ended up only getting 3 quarts and 1 pint. So we will take this outside and put it on the cooker.
Where'd it go?
Back. The back. That is so heavy. All right, here's the chicken all cooked. I've already picked off some meat, so I'm picking all the meat out to put into our soup tonight. He's actually pretty tender. He was about 5 months old. Next time, I think that we are, let me see if I can move this up where you can see me. Next time we decided that we're going to separate our roosters out so that they're not kind of like all running around, but that they could be like in one, they'll still be free range, but like more so in like one area so that they can get fatter. I don't really think that this was too bad for being a 6-month rooster that was running around everywhere. I think that he had quite a bit of meat on him. Honestly, I'll show you when I'm all done how much meat I got. All right, this is what I have going on. This is the bones, getting ready to go back into the stock pot for another batch of broth. I'll cook that for 24 hours, making it bone broth, making it super rich and nutritious and gelatinous and all that. This is the broth that I got from just cooking the chicken yesterday. This is the pile of chicken I got which is super fabulous for a 6-month-old rooster or a 5-month-old rooster that we did not even concentrate to feed up or anything, just completely free range in about an acre of pasture, just hanging out with the chickens. So I'm very happy about that. All right, I've got chicken bones in here, and then I threw in some onions. All I did was cut the ends off. I didn't peel or anything. And then the garlic, I did some garlic cloves, and I did peel it. And now I'm adding some apple cider vinegar because that helps leach the nutrients out of the bones. I don't like a lot in mine, so I'm just doing just a little bit. And then I'm gonna add some fresh herbs, and it's gonna go into the cooker for 24 hours. All right, I grabbed some carrots off the table from this morning's harvest, throwing them in. And then I got some oregano, rosemary, sage, and thyme out of the garden. It's gonna be quite flavorful. I think I'll probably label this like an herb broth, just because it's gonna have lots of herbs. Because sometimes I use my broth for like chicken enchiladas and stuff. I don't want all these herbs in, so I don't always make this flavorful of a broth. But since this was our own rooster, I wanted to make it flavorful. So I will mark it herb broth for soup. All right, the beeper just went off. We are going outside. When you pressure can, all you do is turn it off. Let me turn the camera around. There we go, the weight rocking. We're just gonna turn the heat off and close our propane here. And then that will cool down. This little red button here will go down, and then it'll be a little while, and then we'll take the lid off. I'm feeling like I should rename my channel from Rooted in Peace to like Seriously Slow Living, because the thing is, it's not a slow life, obviously, because I'm busy all day, but it's like slow living in the sense of the process. Is I feel like the videos are like just ongoing because broth, you know, takes a super long time. Cooking chicken, like canning, like it's all a process of just all day, every day. Is it tender? Good. While you're in here, I'll ask you, how did you feel about killing the rooster and doing all that? A little bit good. What was your favorite? What's your favorite part? Let me guess. Eating the chicken. Cutting off the head. Okay. What was your least favorite part?
Plucking. Cause
it stunk. Yeah, he said it stunk really bad. It might have not stunk so bad had it not been so hot, because it was 95 yesterday. So if it was a cooler weather, maybe it wouldn't have stunk so bad. But it was pretty stinky.
I'm eating this.
All right, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna show you at the end our soup pot tonight as we eat our chicken soup. Green beans are awesome. Tomatoes are awesome.